This
uh,
conference will now be recorded.
10 years in SAP TM and BN4L, 4 years in BN4L. So I've got 70 plus batches I've taken for the SAP TM as well as for BN4L. So in this session for BN4L, I'm going to cover the following topics, which will be introduction to the collaboration logistic BN4L, what are the global challenges, how does what is the components of BN4L, and all these things will be explained about this one. Then the next thing will be onboarding. So when it comes to the onboarding, we have two types of onboarding. Okay, how what happens to, like, what type of solution owners, onboarding of a solution owner and solution partner will be the carriers onboarding, all these things. Apart from that one, whenever we are onboarding, there are two types of onboarding. For production, the onboarding will be different. For the demo or for the testing, for each and every project when we go live, right, we need to have a test client as how do we onboard the test part, that will be explained. Then the connectivity, how does what connectivity is needed, setup and connectivity, which includes the SOA manager settings and the what configs are needed between CPI, SOA manager, and basis what settings are needed. We will explain you about all of those parts. Then we will be starting with our module freight collaboration, out of which we will be covering freight contracting, which will be tendering, confirmation, dock appointments, scheduling, slot booking and cancellation, and we do have the visibility, freight order visibility, execution out of which we will be explaining you the how do we report the events, how do we visualize that event as a solution owner. Then we have the settlement related topics, which will be freight settlements, carrier invoicing, self invoicing, dispute management. These are the topics which we will be covering. Apart from that, we do have some of the other topics will be alerts management, that how do we send alert management, as well as the feedback management, which will be connecting with the uh, external service providers. How do we get the feedbacks, in the sense customer feedback or the career feedbacks, those things. Then we have the next mode will be the global track and trace. Under the global track and trace, we will be still discussing about the models. What are the types of model? Standard model, which is provided by standard SAP, and template based model, which is a very custom one. How do we connect with the external systems like the project 44? What settings are needed for connecting with the project 44, and the event reporting back to TMS? Those are the settings will be configured. Will be explained over there. Apart from that, we have another module which is called intelligence insight, which is called a dashboard, a sort of thing, which where will be we used to have a global visibility across all the locations, all the ports, whatever is happening, right? We will get the information about those ones, and the analysis using SAP Cloud Analytics. Okay, then what are the planned innovations we have for the collaboration, global track and trace, and the intelligence insight, that will be explained. There is one topic which will be mentioned as metal traceability, which is called as global batch traceability, which we are not using that here. It's a typo mistake. Okay, so the total duration will be 20 hours only, which we're gonna explain to you. Any questions till now?
Training duration is 20 hours, you told, right?
Yes, please.
And so it's very short module, or because of the TM background, it is needed, or how it?
Sorry, can you come again, please?
So it's actually the 20 hours, the module duration you mentioned. So
Yes, please.
uh, it's because of the TM, all the persons is having because of the 20 hours, or in depth you are going for that.
See, that is only, I am not gonna teach you TMS. Okay, If it is a TMS, that's going to be a different module altogether, and it's a different part. Only it is an integration perspective, what settings are needed, and since it's in cloud, what base configurations are needed, what enhancements, what developments are needed, that will be explained to you, which will not take much time. Only thing is that the connectivity and all those things will take time. Based on our prior experience, it doesn't take more
Okay.
than 20 or 20 to 25 on top of most external. Won't take
Thank
much time.
you.
If you are not familiarized with TMS, then that's a problem. Then in the sense you need more time to understand what is that. Got my
So you'd
point?
be talking about EDI connectivity, is it? All the artifact, what are the EDIs that are involved, etc., etc.
We will be talking about there are ways that how do we communicate with the from LBN, how do we communicate with the carriers. Carrier may be on EDI, carrier may be on API. How do we communicate that communication will be explained.
Okay. And settings are both from TM and from the LBN side, right? So you'll also be touching upon the settings at the TM end as well, right?
See, when the outbound communication from TMS goes to CPI, from the CPI it goes to LBN, BN4L.
Yeah.
What services are needed, how the services are configured in Soha Manager, how does it is
Yeah.
being consumed in BN4L, that will be explained.
Okay.
And as well as the output outbound from the BN4L will be an inbound for TMS. How do we configure those Soha Manager settings, URLs, that will be
Okay.
explained.
Okay. And how would that update back in TM also be discussed, right? Say, for example, doc
That is
appointment
what
or
is the
things like
inbound
that.
communication.
Okay. Fine. Yeah.
So Rahim, Sanjeev here. Will you be also explaining the GTT settings that may be there inside the TM environment?
Absolutely, absolutely. The GTT settings along with the events configuration, enhancements, whatever needed, because GTT works on the custom models, right? So those what events are needed, what extractors are needed, all the sort of configurations will be explained to you along with the connectivity part.
Okay.
Any questions further? If there are no questions, I'll move forward. So in BN4L, like we have as we told, right? So all the partners will be onboarded, customer, vendor, shipper, okay, freight forwarders will be onboarded, which has the possibility for connecting with the, we have the track and trace, which is called the global track and trace, freight collaboration, material traceability, which is not used because that is not for our TMS part, okay, for the supply chain, that is for the global VAS traceability. Okay, and we have one of the component which I mentioned is intelligent insights for the dashboard sort of thing, which integrates with both freight collaboration and track and trace. So where we can everybody can be onboarded and we can exchange and communicate the data between them. So, okay, and it supports all the modules such as road, rail, ocean, as well as air. Okay, and this is also the pictorial diagram when it comes to openness of LBN. So the shipper who is onboarded onto that one, the carrier to the LBN network, we will onboard or we will send the invite to the all the carriers. Okay, so when including it's not only the carriers, it's also the visibility providers or the B2B communications. Okay, if anybody is using this TMS or anybody using another system, right? Maybe so those will even the project 44, all of those will be onboarded. So there is a dedicated onboarded team is there from SAP. That onboarded team will onboard that one. So if it's an individual carrier, if the carrier are having their own system, then it will be communicated to B2B services. It might be API or through digital carrier networks like Uber, Insta, rights, Project 40 for all of these things. And we will get all the information related to the visibility will be shared from the B2B from their systems, from the visibility provider system back to TMS, back to LBN, and LBN will send it back to shipper. That is the communication. So in such cases, what would happen? LBN is going to be the middleware in those cases. It can also play as a middleware for the external planning. Using LBN, we can send the information of the freight index to the carriers carrier system, and carriers will plan that one and send back the result to LBN, and from the LBN it will be goes back directly to shipper and creates the freight orders. Got my point? So in all cases, it works as a middleware where the data exchange happens between all the partners. Got it? So the first part, what we have is that, right, freight collaboration. Under the freight collaboration, we have the collaboration of the freight orders, freight bookings. We have the dock appointment scheduling, because once the freight order has been tendered, after the tendering, we give the confirmation. After the confirmation, the carrier will give back the driver information, vehicle information, all the information will be sent back. The moment the freight order got confirmed, right, it will also give an option to the carrier to get the schedule for the dock appointment. When I say a dock appointment, door selecting of the doors, okay, because you know very well that each warehouse has dedicated doors, and when we plan, right, the way the carrier has the possibility to schedule or to select the appointment and go on that particular time. How does that will be connected will be explained to in the dock appointment scheduling. Even we have the check-in and check-out, whereas wherein which we can have the extend or outsourced transportation, wherein which we have the gate in, gate check-in, gate in, check outside. All those information will also get loaded into TMS or into BN4L or freight collaboration. From there, it goes back to TMS. And for that one, there are smart enhancements needed that for that one. If you want to integrate with the gate-ins. And the next thing will be the freight order tracking, because we have a dedicated set of events, 6-7 events, which is provided by LBN, which allow the carrier to send the events, to update the events of the arrival, proof of delivery, proof of pickup, all of these things, so that it can give the visibility of what happens, right? So it updates back those information back to TMS. So okay, so that we can have the execution information, real-time information. So these are the things we normally we found out, that contracting, which tendering, quotation processing, and the milestone monitoring, which will be done in the execution perspective, and the settlement, wherein which after execution we have to make a settlement where carrier self billing we can do, or carrier invoicing with the help of, and also we have dispute management. When you say dispute management, if you people are aware of TMS part, right, we have a dispute management in TMS as well, or we can also have a dispute management active at the LBN itself, so that all the dispute related communication should happen directly in the dispute. Final result will be sent back to TMS. So either any one of the one we can able to communication we can able to that. It's up to the business. Okay. And one more option is that connectivity. LBN can connect with any system. So as for HANA, we can able to, as for HANA transportation management is the one supply chain network which can able to connect with the BN4L, as well as if most of the carriers are onboarded onto oversight intra project 44, and we will connect with this LBN, right? So what would happen? The data communication between these two things would happen. We will get the real-time information. This is not nothing about these ones, maybe. Yeah, this is what about the DAS appointment. This is about normally this is about the freight collaboration, wherein which tendering, what tendering we are going to do, like the freight tendering, okay, and dock appointment scheduling and the self billing. These are the few things which we are going to be covering along with the onboarding processes. Then we have got this dock appointment scheduling. Based on the dock appointment scheduling, whenever we plan the freight unit site, we will send it back. Normally, this is a before LBN scope, right? We you know very well that EWM does do have a dock appointment scheduling, and YL do have an appointment scheduling. Okay, with the help of the LBN, right? Now LBN, what does happens? We can send it to LBN. From LBN, you can see all the information will be same as it is, but here we will be sending this information to LBN, and LBN can send the doc appointment. Again, one more point to be understand that this doc appointment can be used the people who are using EWM or without using EWM as well. That is the reason that the purpose of using a doc appointment or creating a doc appointment is to only for the people who are not using EWM. Otherwise, EWM has a dedicated Docker point DAS site, but this one, the people who are not using any EWM, for them as well, it is useful from LBN as well. Okay, so this is more about the what is that we're going to show in the components view, etc., etc., which I'm gonna cover in the upcoming sessions. Okay, this is more about the docs. We don't have much information about this one. So related to the GTT, basically, I'm gonna cover all the only standard model which is delivered, where we can enhance what extra events we would like to have, which integrates standard model, which integrates with the ECC or TMs or S4 HANA sales order, delivery integration, FU integration, FO integration. All these integrations we will be sending to GTT. From the GTT, tracking of the events, updating of the live events back to TMS will be covered under that part, plus the alert management and the notification management that we will be covering in the GTT perspective. Any questions?
Rahim, this what is the purpose of this LBN and LB4N? What is the difference? This terminology,
Yeah,
both are
LBN
same or?
earlier, see, earlier, right, when S4 HANA started, they came up with the name called LBN, Logistics Business Network. Okay,
Hmm, hmm.
later on, when when the features are coming from 2021 onwards or 2022 onwards, 2022 onwards, they renamed the LBN back to BN4L. BN4L stands for Business Network for Logistics. Earlier it is
Yes.
Logistic Business Network. Now they changed the name back to Business Network for Logistics, BN4L. Got it?
Okay.
It's a rename. That's it. Any other topics or questions you have?
For LBN, if the shipper is taking the LBN on his tenant the license, so shipper also need to buy the license.
See, as I mentioned, you right. Shipper is the owner of the license, so shipper will take, and for the carriers, it will be free. They will be
Okay.
onboarded on free. The license
Okay.
cost will be there only for the shipper.
Okay.
So that's it for today. So this is just an introduction. What we're gonna cover in the upcoming sessions of LB BN4L, basically. Sorry.
Rahim, yeah, for LBN integration, what are the functional consultant required apart from the LBN expert?
If you have a
the
TMS
team.
experience, that is fine for enough.
As a project, if any client is implementing the LBN, let's say in shipper
Hmm.
scenario, what are the people they are going to include in the project development? I'm saying. So one is LBN, and of course the LBN TM, whomever knows this expertise. Apart from that, do they require B2B and basis? Is all people required?
That will be common, right? Basis is anyhow
Common.
needed, and
Uh-huh.
basis will configure the SOA manager setting, and one adapters are needed for the
Yeah.
GTT perspective.
CPI is not required. मतलब cloud platform integration. CPI also
CPI
required?
is given by SAP. We don't need to do
Okay.
that one.
Okay. Okay. So basis is required and B2. B2 B2B. What is that? Business B2P. Business
B2B
technology
service.
platform. Mhm.
BTP.
BTP. I'm
BTP
saying.
is BTP is the platform which is given by default by SAP to us. When you
Okay.
onboard, right, BTP will be given to us.
Okay.
If you want to go with GTT, then you may need the .NET or VB script, guys.
Mm.
You write the
Mm.
scriptings.
Mhm.
The models are in the JavaScript or VB script. Oh, sorry, JavaScripts. Okay, we should know write the code in that format. And the ABAPers are needed to write our own ABAP extractors, event extractors in TMS for GTT specifically.
So how they connect with the EWM from the LBN side? Is there any same
Again,
standard
SOA
SOA
manager.
manager? Mhm.
So
One more
this is the
question here.
audience.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So this module is for the audience for only the TMS. Because of the knowledge of I'm having SNC with a PI, with the PO, with the connection of the another modules and the interfaces, which I worked on, and also the having the experience of this proxy and so that reprocessing the XML messages. So I just want to know that this LBN is also add-on for me as a EWM consultant. Just want to ask you.
As an EWM functional, I think see most of
Yes,
the process of the tendering, collaboration, dispute invoicing, which are not there in the EWM, correct? What are the core fees,
correct.
supply chain functionalities, core functionalities are covered from TMS. Only one thing you may cover from the EWM it will be only the DAS.
Okay, doc appointment scheduling.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Got it.
And one more question from here. Right. So the difference between carrier collaboration portal and LBN, right, is that LBN can accommodate flight booking as well, right? So are we also giving a insights on integrating the flight booking as well, or just with the flight order?
Freight booking is also been as a part of our LBN collaboration. LBN,
Yeah, but
freight
then are we
collaboration.
also covering that? Like, if there are any difference in
No,
how we integrate flight booking versus.
in our previous class, we have covered that one. Earlier, it was not given. It was recently given in the recent versions of 2023. So we have explained in our last training session.
Okay, and in the coming training session, are we going to explain that as well?
Absolutely, updation of a container from the bookings as well as
Okay,
updation of a BL, bill of lading.
okay, okay.
Any other questions? If there are no questions, and Naveen, we can wind up the class. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.